day, panelists. I am Bobigard Cabezas, and this is my lesson plan. So after the lesson, the learners can demonstrate the understanding of the core concepts and underlying theories in preparing, presenting gâteaux, torts, and cakes. The learner can demonstrate competencies in preparing, presenting gâteaux, torts, and cakes. The learner will be able to select, measure, and weigh ingredients according to recipe requirements, enterprise practices, and customer practices. They will be able to select required oven temperature to bake goods in accordance to desired characteristics, standard recipe specifications, and enterprise practices. The learner will be able to prepare sponges and cakes according to recipe specification, techniques and conditions, and desired product characteristics. They will be able to use appropriate equipment according to required pastry and bakery products and standard operating procedures. They will be able to call sponges and cakes according to established and standards and procedures. So now, let me start my lesson proper. Good afternoon, class. Alright, I hope everyone's ready for our activity today. So, to formally start the class, I would like to request Miss Manal to lead a prayer. Please all rise, class. Amen. So, let me check your attendance first. Well, it seems that everybody is very excited today because no one is absent. Last meeting, I was requiring you to research about the recipe of, yes, correct, chocolate moist cake, the procedure and the ingredients. Just keep your assignments because you will need it later as your guide for our laboratory today. But before we start our laboratory, I would like to remind our kitchen rules. What is our first kitchen rules? Correct, Mr. Yanuyan. Wearing of PPE. What is PPE, class? Correct, Mr. Sampitan. Personal protective equipment. Examples are apron and hairnet. But if you don't have hairnet, you can always use a cap. So, let's proceed to our second rule. Correct, Miss Bustamante. No shouting and no playing. So, sometimes, kung daghan sa kagrupo, nunya, ang uban wala na buhat, magdula na lang. So, be responsible group mates. Let's help one another to have or to make the work fast. Alright? So, third rule. Our third rule is always washing your hands and personal good hygiene. It is very important because we are dealing with foods here. It is always important that we wash our hands first before touching the food. Alright? Got it, class? So, the next rule is, correct, Mr. Pospos, safety first. Of course, safety first because we are handling her equipments like oven, burner. We are dealing here with electricity and LPG. It is very important to be safety first to avoid accidents. So the last rule is the very important rule. Clean as you go. Correct, Miss Manal. Clean as you go. So after nato sa laboratory, we have to clean our own mess. Dili kay wala kaula, wala na. And the proper storage of our equipments and utensils. Kung asa gikuha, asa ko dito ibutang balik. Kung limpyo gini siya pagkuha before. Then, limpyuhan po nato at the proper way of cleaning, the proper way of storage is very important. Okay, para dili tayo madaog ang ato ang equipments and utensils. Alright. Manata sa ato ang kitchen rules. I hope ma-apply nato to for today's laboratory. So, first, I will group you into three. I will group you into three groups, meaning you are all 21, meaning there are 7 members in each group. So, please count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? All group 1 gather around this table. Group 2 and group 3. Alright? Before doing your laboratory, you have your own recipe in your assignments. It will come as your guide. So first, I would like to demonstrate you on how to make chocolate moist cake, and after this, you will make your own chocolate moist cake as part of our laboratory. So, okay, you can gather around here to see closely about how to make chocolate moist cake. Right, class? First, you will need 4 cups of flour. 3.5 cups of flour, which is all-purpose flour. 3.5. So it is very important that we have it is perfect measurements of our ingredients. So we have to level the flour in order to achieve the perfect measurement of flour and any ingredients. So 1, we have to sift it to avoid lumps in our cake batter. That's to avoid the lumps. That's 1 cup. Two. 3 and 3.5 cups of flour. Again, we always have to sift the dry ingredients to avoid lumps in our cake batter. It is always important that you have to take note, class, about the procedure. Because later on, I will ask question about the procedure. Next, we will need 1.5 cups of cocoa powder. Let's turn off the 1.5 cup of cocoa powder. Then level it. That's a 1/2 cup. That's 1 cup. And that's 1.5 cup of cocoa powder. Then sift it with your available sifter. baking can always be a messy activity. So it is always important to apply clean as you go. Right? Mao siya class pag magpibugol ang ato ang cocoa powder, it will create lump on our cake batter. This is first we have to prepare the dry ingredients. And next, we are going to need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. So again, you have to level it with spoon or knife. And baking soda, 1 tablespoon. Alright? So these are all our dry ingredients. And we'll have to set this aside as we have to prepare for our wet ingredients. So for our wet ingredients class, we will need 4 eggs, 1 cup of oil. You can use cooking oil, vegetable oil, or corn oil, depending on the availability of the ingredients. Next, whisk it with 4 cups of sugar. 1, 2, 3, 11. That's 4 cups of sugar. We're just going to incorporate it properly using the whisk. If you don't have a mixer, you can use whisk. This is the whisk. But mixer will be do faster. If you have mixer, it will be done faster. But whisk will do. So you just have to incorporate the egg, the oil, and the sugar. Then after that, you will need a 1 can of condensed milk. This is equivalent to 410 ml. Remember class that dry ingredients is different from wet ingredients. So it is very important that in measuring dry ingredients is different from measuring wet ingredients. It is always important that we measure the ingredients exactly, because the quality of your cake will change or will not be good if you don't follow the procedures and the recipe in making the specific cakes. So after that, we will use vanilla to vanilla is used for the aroma, so that there is an aroma. Then we're going to add the dry ingredients into our wet mixture. You can look closely, guys, class. As you can see, the consistency of our butter is a bit of dry. This is the consistency of the butter we want, of a chocolate moist. Don't worry, because we are going to add a hot water later after the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients incorporate properly. Alright? We have already mixed the dry ingredients and wet ingredients properly. It is time to add the hot water. Two cups of hot water. 1 and 2. That's 2 cups of hot water. Now you have to mix that. But before mixing it, it is always important that we have to preheat our oven before putting our butter or our cake tins into the oven. So this is very important. Preheating our oven into 180 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. So the importance of preheating the oven, take note, the importance of preheating an oven is to have the desired outcomes of our cake, chocolate moist cake, or any bakery products. It is always important that we have to preheat the oven before putting our products into the oven. Now our chocolate moist is a bit of runny. The mixture is a bit of runny. So this is the consistency of mixture we want. Now we can put it to our greased na tin cake. Cake tins. Gi-grease na ni siya ganiha it is important na grease na siya because para dili mo pilit ang atuang cake after maluto tong cake, dili siya mo pilit sa side. And we have to put wax paper beneath the butter. Before putting the butter, we have to put in wax paper. Then we can put our, it is very important that you don't overmix your cake batter because the result or the outcomes of your cake batter will have a difference with overmixing. Overmixing can create a air pocket. The air pocket will minimize and the outcomes of your cake will depleted and flat, meaning delicious spongy. It looks like pancakes, so it is very important that you don't overmix your or over whisk your butter. So now you have to put the cake mixture into the cake tins. This is a 6-inch cake tins. The recipe I have provided can make up to 2 6-inch cake tins. Now I guess that our oven is already preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. We can now put inside our cake batter into the oven. And this will cook for 30 minutes. It is very important that the timer of your cake, the desired time, will be achieved because it will change the output. The outcomes of your cake will change. So it is very important that kung sa recipe, nakabutang is 30 minutes, then you have to follow the 30 minutes. So this time, the cake batter that I make, the chocolate moist cake that I made is at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. So now, class, you will be given 1 hour to prepare and cook your chocolate moist cake. And after that, you will present it to my table, and then I will evaluate it later. So it is 3:30. So I expect your cake here at 4:30 p.m. because our class will dismiss at 5 p.m. So taas pa kayo ang time para sa clean as you go. Alright? Timer starts now, class. Alright, time's up. So, well, this is a very nice cakes. So, itilawan ako ganina ang inyong cakes, but sa pagtilaw is sa inyong output sa inyong cake, dili ko mag-base about the output, but I will base on how you made your cake, how you make your cake, the procedure, the consistency, and the practices. Kung tama ba ang inyong ibuhat, kung the temperature, the uses of our equipments, the time, kung sakto ba, dito ka mag-base, and of course the output. So, class, let's evaluate. I will ask question. What is the importance of preheating our oven? Before putting our cake into the oven, we have to preheat. So what is the importance, or why it is very important? Correct, Ms. Bustamante. It is very important that we preheat our oven because the desired outcomes or the desired characteristic will affect the cake. So, we use baking powder, baking soda. These ingredients will na siya characteristics nga mo effect lang siya only sa heat. So, it is very important na na-heat ni mo siya kay kung dili, ang iyang pagtubo is, dili ko kaya siya mutubo. So, naay something sa iya ka. It's a bit of dry. It's a bit of, ang output sa imong cake is a bit of, dili siya moist when you don't preheat your oven. So, next question. Why is it important that we have to level our ingredients? We have to level the measuring of our ingredients. Correct, Ms. Manal. Because the baking is, unlike cooking, baking is very specific. It is very important that we have to follow the procedure, follow the recipe, follow the measurements of our ingredients, the dry and the wet ingredients. So, padulong na po siya sa desired outcomes and characteristics of our product at the end of the product. Kung there is more flour in your cake, so it means mag-dry siya. Kay grabe ang iyang dry ingredient na sobraan. So it is very important to follow your recipe and the measurements of the recipe. So, our cake has a specific temperature on our recipe. Why is it important to follow the desired temperature of our cake? Correct, Mr. Pospos? To have the good quality and to have a good characteristic of the output of our desired products. It is very important na kay mo effect po siya. For example, the given temperature is 180 degrees Celsius and you only put the temperature into 160 degrees Celsius. Mahunsa man ang imong cake. Of course, dugay ka siya maluto. Then after, ang outcome sa dugay ka siya maluto? Yes, correct. Gahin siya. Dili siya or mahilaw siya. Kaya ang imong timer is 30 minutes. Tapos 160 degrees Celsius, mahilaw. So, next question. How will you determine that your cake is already cooked? Correct, Miss Daisy. Put A to test your cake to test your cake if it's already cooked. You have to put a toothpick at the center of your cakes. Then when nothing comes out, it means it is cooked. When it is clean, when the toothpick is clean, it is already cooked. So, that is all I would like to remind you our few kitchen, the last kitchen rules. So kay excited na tamo kaon sa atong cakes. Very good job, class. Good job. Your cakes are perfect, meaning nag-follow ta sa atong recipe and the measurements. So, for next PT, I would like to do I would like you to research about icing. Icing, the characteristic of icing, the types of icing. Please take note, class. This is very important. This is very important that you have to take notes. So, first, types of icing and frosting and their uses. Okay, good job. Sulat. It is very important na isulat na to ang atuang recipe or unsa ba ka sa atuang class kay para dili na ta magsiping pangutana sa uban, and we have to be independent. Writing is sometimes kalimutan tapos nagsulat ta. So, pag-check up sa itong notes na dito. So, remember na ito siya. Next, the classification of coatings and sidings based on the required recipe specifications. So, kung sa ito ang recipe, kung sa recipe sa icing, dapat i-research niyo. Then the decorations appropriate for sponge cakes. And application and procedure in icing a cake. So, meaning na natay window sa atong next na laboratory. Meaning, mag-icing ka. Excited na mo sa atong pag-icing. No? So, I guess, excited na ta class. I hope we have so much learning for today's class. I hope nakuha na to. I hope nga this will apply to your work, future work. I hope nga dili ninyo kalimtan. This is very important. Siguro no, na-learn. So, let's call it a day. Pwede ninyo tilawan yung cakes. And thank you for coming, class. And don't forget to apply Clay Go as we go outside the laboratory. Thank you and good afternoon. Right?